name is Dennis Smith. In the last meeting, I spoke to you about Brimco and how the way they operate affects every individual in the county. This morning, I would like to share with you more information you may not know about cooperative. In an article in the Cambridge Journal of Economics titled Marx, Marxism, and the Cooperative Movement, the author Bruno Jose writes, on several occasions, Marx declared himself strongly in favor of cooperative firms, maintaining that their generalized introduction would result in a new productive mode. At different times in his life, he even seems to have been confident that cooperatives would eventually supplant capitalistic firms altogether. Lenin also endorsed the cooperative movement, and in a 1923 work entirely devoted to this subject, he went so far as to equate cooperative with socialism at large. More precisely, besides describing cooperation as an important organizational step in the transition to socialism, he explicitly agreed that cooperation is socialism. Jose concludes the article by saying, what we set out to show was that following Vanek's contribution, a system of producer cooperatives is fully consistent with Marxist thought and can no longer be viewed as a disguised form of capitalism. From the Communist Review, published by the Communist Party of Great Britain, an article titled Communism and the Cooperative Societies by Carl Biddle says, in the carrying out of these theses, the Fourth Congress draws attention to the following point. All communist parties must unconditionally enforce the decision that all party members must also be members of consumers' cooperatives and must do communist work in these organizations. The following are things the former Soviet Union has in common with Blue Ridge Electric. The former Soviet Union, in the former Soviet Union, a small group at the top controlled everything. At Blue Ridge Electric, a small group at the top controls everything. In the former Soviet Union, opposition was crushed. At Brimco, they crushed their opposition. In the former Soviet Union, the Communist Party was always right. At Brimco, the co-op is always right. In the former Soviet Union, there was no choice in elections. Brimco, no choice in elections. In the former Soviet Union, the election outcome was predetermined. Brimco, election outcomes are predetermined. In the former Soviet Union, individual rights were non-existent. Brimco, individual rights are non-existent. In the former Soviet Union, there was no freedom to choose. Brimco, no freedom to choose. The former Soviet Union used strong-arm tactics. Brimco uses strong-arm tactics. In the former Soviet Union, the leaders got rich at the expense of the people. Brimco, the leaders are getting richer at the expense of the members. In the former Soviet Union, there was no private property rights. Brimco ignores private property rights. The former Soviet Union seized property. Brimco seizes property. The former Soviet Union had a propaganda machine. Brimco has a propaganda machine. The former Soviet Union was secretive. Brimco is secretive. The former Soviet Union would not share information. Brimco will not share information. The former Soviet Union always looked for ways to become more powerful. Brimco looks for ways to become more powerful, like selling propane. The former Soviet Union set prices. Brimco sets electric rates. The former Soviet Union answered to no one. Brimco answers to no one. The former Soviet Union controlled all means of production. Brimco controls the means of production. The former Soviet Union restricted wealth, or redistributed wealth. Brimco redistributes wealth. The following story is just one example of Brimco redistributing wealth. I found this story to be of interest. It's a story that could have happened in Alleghany County, and I believe there may be lessons that can be learned from the way it played out. This particular telling of the story begins with a press release from Blue Ridge Electric. It read, "For immediate release, Blue Ridge Electric pledges $50,000 to help build Blowing Rock Community Arts Center. Blue Ridge Electric Membership Corporation has pledged $50,000 to assist in building the planned Blowing Rock Community Arts Center. The Blowing Rock Community Arts Center will be a 22,000 square foot facility located on 3.5 acres on Valley Boulevard, just north of the intersection of Highway 321 North and Sunset Drive. The Blue Ridge Electric donation will be distributed over a period of 5 years and is part of $3.3 million in pledges received for construction of the center so far. The new Arts Center will be an asset to the community and a valuable learning tool for all ages," said Doug Johnson, Chief Executive Officer of Blue Ridge Electric. "The Arts Center is especially important in an area like ours that is rich with artistic talent and heritage. The Blowing Rock Community Arts Center will provide a permanent home for a multitude of arts groups in the Blowing Rock area, including both regular and children's live theater, dance groups, musical performances, and visual arts displays. The new facility will include 2 auditoriums, a banquet room with a kitchen, and 2 large conference rooms. It is expected to serve as a gathering place for civic and cultural interest, as well as a meeting venue for local businesses. The Board of Directors for the Center has set a goal to raise $6 million to complete the project." According to statistics, there are around 1,000 people who reside in Blowing Rock. The average house sells for around $600,000. There are some very wealthy people who live there, vacation, or spend their summers there. And they gave generously to the Arts Center project. Mariam Hayes won the naming rights with her donation to the center, and the center became the Robert and Mariam Hayes Performing Arts Center. The Hayes Performing Arts Center broke ground in 2005 and opened in August 2006. It featured a 348-seat auditorium, a smaller theater in the round, dressing rooms, meeting and rehearsal rooms, a kitchenette, offices, and other amenities. It cost around $10 million to build. The Arts Center operated until 2009, when it shut down because of financial problems. It opened back up in 2011. The theater was unable to obtain the needed financial support. So in February of 2012, with an outstanding debt of $4.5 million, the property and its contents were turned over to the lien holder, Wells Fargo. According to Lee Layton, member of the Arts Board and Chief Operations Officer for Blue Ridge Electric, in 2006, the USDA, a federal agency, agreed to guarantee 80% or $6.2 million of the loan for the Hayes Center, financed by Wachovia Bank, now Wells Fargo. So the bank is protected from 80% of the loss, Layton said. On August 21st of this year, at the Watauga County Courthouse, the Robert and Mariam Hayes Performing Arts Center was sold for $1,422,000. Wells Fargo Bank was the only bidder. Along with individuals, Watauga County donated thousands of dollars to this project. A bill in the North Carolina legislature was introduced to give $500,000. And then there's Brimco with its $50,000. Is this the proper use of co-op money? This whole thing sounds a lot like a teapot museum. If the teapot museum had been built, could it have met the same fate as the Blowing Rock Arts Center? And would the taxpayers have been stuck with the bill? Remember, the USDA guaranteed the Arts Center's loan. I hope you will consider these things when putting taxpayers' money at risk. And it would also be nice if you would at least consider to challenge Brimco's rate increase. Now, back to the story. It has a happy ending. When Wells Fargo bought the Arts Center on August 21st, there was a 10-day upset bid period. On August 30th, Franklin Graham's Samaritan's Purse submitted an upset bid of $1,493,100, and the bid was accepted. Karina Peterson, a spokeswoman for Samaritan's Purse, said the agency is grateful the bid was accepted. We have need of a facility for training, conferences, and meetings, and we were able to purchase this building, which would meet those needs for significantly less than what it would cost to build, she said. The agency had a staff of fewer than a dozen when it started more than 30 years ago, and now has nearly 500 employees based in Boone and more than 2,000 more across the world. It also has more than 100,000 volunteers nationwide, including people who help with Operation Christmas Child, U.S. Disaster Relief, and World Medical Mission. This facility will be an important asset in our ministry as we serve Christ through our worldwide relief and evangelism projects, Peterson said in a statement. In addition, we hope to be able to make it available to churches and other Christian organizations that work to share the good news of Jesus Christ. The Arts Center would have been built with or without the co-op members' money being given to the project. The fact that the management made the decision to give $50,000 of members' money to this project should at least cause you to question the rate increase planned for October. I ask you again to oppose Brimco's rate increase.
Anyone else?
Not through.
You are.
Pardon?
You are.
I'm through.
When you finish that, you're through. Yes.
Well, I've got a little more here.
All right.
The following prayer was offered in the United States Senate. O God, the light of those who seek Thee, grant to our minds that illumination without which we walk in darkness and know not whither we go. Remember those who feel no need of Thee, who seem content with a careless, unexamined life, whose hearts are unvisited by desires of better things. Leave them not to themselves, lest they go down to destruction. Remember us, O Lord, who do not always remember Thee, and help us to accomplish our tasks without tension or strain, that we may do good work and merit Thy blessing. For Jesus' sake, amen.
Anyone else? If not, I will close the public comment section and move on to item B on the agenda. It always gives me pleasure when I have the honor and privilege to honor one of our